guys, hope you're doing well. My name's Lucy, I'm the creator behind Lulu's Crochet and More down in Devon. If you are a new subscriber, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Sorry there's been a bit of a lull in my videos, but it has been too hot to film, quite honestly. Oh, just opened the door and there's a fly in here already, so sorry if I keep batting, but it's going to irritate me. Yeah, basically it's been too hot. This room, as I said in a previous video, sorry I'm easily distracted, turns into a sauna, for want of a better word. It is a conservatory that's been converted into a room, which means that it is like an oven when it's hot. I've got the door open, but it has got big glass windows that just radiate the sun like a magnifying glass. So yes, apologies if this video ends up being really short, but I'm going to do as much as I can stand and as much as my phone can cope with, because I don't know how much memory I've got left. But I'm coming at you with a couple of market recaps. So the last one that we caught up on was Plymouth Albion Day, which was on the 30th of May, which, as we discussed, didn't go great. It wasn't the worst event I've ever been at, but the amount of time I was there, it just wasn't worth it for me. My theory is, if I could have made more money being at work, it wasn't worth it. And I could have made more money being at work. Not that I work a weekend, but you get my drift. Although, it got worse. So, the event we had afterwards was the 14th of June, and that was with Dave's Sheds in Saltash, and that was horrendous is the only way I can think of it. It was it was just not it. So unless you know it's there, you don't know it's there. So it's not the sort of place where you get a steady footfall of people just finding you by accident. You have to know that the place exists, and you have to know that there's an event on. It was the option of being on the field with your own gazebo or in the marquee. So in my head I was like, oh well, they've got a marquee and they're then saying that they can have X, Y and Z amount of vendors on the field. It must be huge. It's not. How do I describe it? It was like a playing field, size wise, if you're in the UK. So, you know, big enough that you'd have a football pitch on, but not like somewhere you do a county show, anything like that. So they had, I'm trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 5 vendors on the field, and then maybe 6 or 8 in the marquee. It was a charitable, sorry, I can't speak, my brain, I've had a day already. It was a charitable donation to be there, but previously they had said that they were going to charge people to be there. So people paid to be there, and then they weren't refunded when they changed it to being a charitable donation event, which is a bit cheeky to start with. So I was fortunate enough that I fell under the voluntary donation bracket, but another vendor who I do quite a few events with, just, you know, as you do when you're doing similar events in the same area, she'd paid and she wasn't offered a refund, and she said she didn't feel like she could ask because she didn't want to be that person, which I totally get. I probably would have been that person, but I do get where she was coming from. So it was a very hot day, and there just wasn't anybody there. They had inflatables, they had a cold drinks van, like a mobile bar, and then they were licensed, so they did have an actual mobile bar as well. So the people that were coming were just coming to drink. They weren't coming to look around or spend money. There wasn't anything to draw people in. So like, there wasn't a dog show, there wasn't a classic car show, there wasn't a fun fair. It was just, we've got a bar and we've chucked a couple of stores around the edge of the field just in case you feel like looking. So anyway, Iz and I got there. Isabella is my daughter if you're new to the channel, and she does 90% of my events with me. She's invaluable. I couldn't do it without her. Super strong lady. Anyway, we got there and we set up the gazebo, and then we went to put one of the tables up, and Isabella was like, Mum, that table is covered in ants. I went, what do you mean it's covered in ants? It's come out of the cottage, but it's covered in ants. We were on an ant's nest. So we ended up having to move 3 times to try and avoid all these ants' nests that were on the field. Because they were swarming. It wasn't just like 1 or 2. The grass was moving, which is not nice. And I didn't want them on all my stuff. I didn't want to have a whole day of just having to like de-ant. So we ended up moving around the pitch 3 times, which meant that nobody was really in line with each other. We were all a bit staggered. We weren't really told where to go. It was just, you rocked up, yes, you can go over there, but we're not going to tell you how far back you need to be, how far forward you need to be, who's going where or what. It was very just kind of show up, first come, first served, go somewhere over there and, you know, organise yourselves amongst yourselves, which isn't always that easy to do. I like direction. Anyway, so yeah, got there, finally managed to find a spot that didn't have any ants, and we just sat and watched people come in, walk past us up to the plant cellar, walk back again, and continue that for most of the day. We made 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 sales all day. It was, I think it was 10 till 3 or 9 till 3, something like that. We did better than the people either side of us, and we did better than a lot of the people in the gazebo, but I don't know how. It was just horrendous. I mean, I got a lot done. I got a lot of work done. Anyway, sales. All 9 of them. We sold 2 pairs of earrings for £5. A pickle, I've written down £5. It's not £5, it's £4. A small cat for 5. A large cat for 15. A pea pod for 7. A mermaid to a fellow vendor, the one that I was saying about. They should be 15, but I did it for 12 for her. A stego for 6. A jellyfish for 5 because I'd run out of pound coins with all these sales. And a rift for £6. And that was it, for a grand total of £71. Could be worse. But it was, what, a 25-minute drive to get there. And then just sat for hours. They had music on. They did have music on, so that was something. But it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. But I've booked to go again. Because why wouldn't you? I'm such an idiot. So the guy came over at the end and was like, oh, you know, I hope you had a really, really good day. And I was like, yeah, it's been fine. Great. Fantastic. He invited us back to the July event, which we couldn't do. But he was like, oh, it's going to be really good. We're going to have like a fun fair and a dog show and this and that to bring everybody in. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? At least you're kind of realising that you need something to bring the crowds in. But we still can't do it. Anyway, he ended up having to cancel the dog show because the weather was too hot and it was unsafe for humans, let alone dogs. Burn their little pawsies, it's not fun. So he cancelled it and he's rearranged it for August, and he sent out an email to all of the vendors he'd had in June and July, and in a slightly less compos mentis state, shall we say, I went, yeah, why not? Let's do it again. Once again, it's a charitable donation. So we're going to give it a go and hope that that dog show brings the people in. It will be the summer holidays, so you never know. There might be more kids knocking about bringing their woofers, and it might be better. It might not. But in my head, unless I make any money, it's free to be there. So, except for the cost of getting there and materials and everything else. We're going to give it a go, is where that is going. I'm going to do a bit of back and forth now, because I had a very eventful and successful market the week after, but that deserves its own video because it's going to be a long one. So instead I'm going to talk about Stuart Road Primary School that we did on the 26th of June. That was the weekend where we had two events, one on the Friday afternoon and then one on the Saturday. So we were there from, well, should have been two, but we were late. So we got there, I think we got there about 2:30, 2:15, 2:30, and we have never set up so quickly in our lives. Isabella thinks we have, I don't think we have. We abandoned the gazebo because it was only an hour and a half. Went, we'll just burn, it'd be fine. We did our three table setup, and we made £98 in the first hour we were there, from memory. So yeah, it went well, and I've actually sat down and worked out my times for this. I finally figured out how to do it, so now I feel ever so slightly professional. So it started at 3, and we had our first sale at 3:09, and that was for a big bee and a sitting bee for a total of £18. Then at 3:10 we sold a rift and a small cat for £11, and then also at 3:10 we sold a rift for £6. 3:11 we sold a small cat for £5. 3:14 we sold a Sydney stego, and so Sydney is the stego, and a rift for a total of £12. At 3:17 we sold a small cat for £5. At 3:18 we sold a macaroon for £6. At 3:19 we sold a small cat for £5. Again at 3:19 we sold a mystery bag for £8. I will come back to the mystery bags. And then at 3:22 we sold a rift and a Sydney stego for a total of £12. At 3:23 we sold a mushy pop for £5. At 3:27 we sold an axolotl for £5. At 3:30 we sold a pea pod for £7. At 3:35 we sold an owl and a duck in a frog hat for a total of £8. At 3:39 we sold a macaron for £6. At 3:48 we sold a leggy froggy and a mystery bag for a total of £13. At 3:49 we sold a stingray baby for £4. At 3:50 we sold a chicken for £4. And then at 4:15 we sold a small cat for £5. So it was, from memory, £15 to be there. For some reason I haven't written down how much it was. And we made a total of £145 in an hour and 10 minutes. Not bad. Not actually, an hour and 5 minutes. So yeah, not too bad at all. Yeah, it was nice. It was small. So it was, like I said, it was at primary school, so they had vendors inside, so like face paint, sweet stalls, little bric-a-bracy thingies, and then outside they had some games, and they had me, a huge reseller, so I did have a major panic, and then a small reseller, and then the person opposite was doing like customized jackets that were really cool. So yeah, when I saw the reseller, because I've seen her at loads of events, I did kind of go, oh no, but there was still the right audience for us. So I was pleased with that. £145 in an hour and 5 minutes, not too bad at all. So those are the two that I wanted to go over. I've still got many more to discuss. My worst event of the year is coming up, don't you worry, along with my best event of the year. I've been very, very fortunate this year. I've had 3 that have been gold star. So makes up for the ones that aren't worth it. But yeah, we'll go into that. So mystery bags. I have filmed something, but I don't know whether I've shown it already because I'm all back and forth and higgledy-piggledy. So hopefully I will insert some footage around here of my mystery fruit hat ducks. So they're my own pattern as much as they can be. I mean, I've made the little tiny squishy ducks for years. I've just made it bigger and made fruit hats for them. So I do an orange, a blueberry, a strawberry, a watermelon and a kiwi fruit. And they're very cute and the kids seem to really like them. In fact, have I got... Yes, I do. Just in case I don't actually get around to finding the footage. They're here. So that's my... Can you see? Hopefully there's not too much glare. So I put what the tops of them look like. I want to redo the kiwi. I didn't like how I did the seeds. I did it like a watermelon and actually they just go around, don't they? But it serves its purpose. So yeah, so you get a mystery duck and some stickers in your little bag for £8. I also decided to do mystery dumplings for a school event and they went down really well. I think I took 10 and I think I only came home with 2 because my marketing is they don't explode and they don't melt in the sun because they are yarn. They are not whatever the hell that goo is that they make these yucky mystery dumplings, excuse me, out of. But yeah, so that's it. My one very event and one pretty good. I reckon I definitely do the school again. Like I said, I'm doing the other one again anyway because I'm an idiot. But hopefully it'll be better next time with more of a draw for people to come in. I hope you've all coped all right in this heat. I know it's hot everywhere, especially in Europe. I'm not sure about the US. I mean, you guys have aircon, so hopefully it's better for you. It is just an expression I can't say on the internet. It's horrible. Work has been disgusting. I ended up having to buy a different type of work top because I felt like everything was just stuck to me because if you don't know, I'm a healthcare assistant, so we wear a tunic and it's very form hugging, shall we say. Mine's too tight. Let's just say it as it is. Mine is too tight. I've put a bit of weight on. It now holds me in all places I don't want it to, but I literally felt like it was stuck to me. So I've now got a scrubs top, which is so much nicer. It's airy. It's like you can move your arms without worrying about everybody seeing water stains, shall we say. But yeah, the building is horrible because it is like many buildings in the UK built to keep the heat in. And we are just not used to this. And there's been no breeze. If there was a breeze, I think it would be a lot better. So I have a cousin that lives in Liverpool who we saw at the weekend. We had a nice family event. And I asked her how she'd been coping. And she's like, oh, we've actually been okay because we just get that not coastal, but they get a constant breeze. And I was like, oh, I'm going to come and live with you and enjoy a bit of actual fresh air rather than walking outside and feeling like I'm walking into an oven. So yeah, this is why there have been no videos. I've spent my entire time making rifts and drifts and pea pods and cats. They are definitely still my best sellers. I reckon when we get to the end of the year, if we take the earrings out, because earrings are always a really good seller for us, I think it's going to be rifts and cats right up there. Axolotl is selling again for me. I actually had to make some more of those for the first time in a while. Cappies aren't really moving, interestingly. They are, but like slowly. But yeah, I reckon it's going to be rifts and small cats. I've only got one large cat left. Hopefully I can get rid of that by the end of the year too. I'm not making those anymore. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. I hope you're all doing well, and I will catch you guys soon with the big event, the big one. And oh, it's exciting. Sorry. I need to go and get a cold drink. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.